In 2013, I met a young entrepreneur from the University of Surrey called Kevin Patrick, who was doing his degree in international business management here. And he was about 20 at the time. And he came and asked me, as a sales consultant, my sales consultant, how can you help my company to grow? And he ran what was effectively a small embroidery, printed embroidered clothing company. So I said, well, I thought about this and I thought, well, I don't really want to charge a guy who's at university, whose company's turning over like 26K. I don't want to really charge him money to train him how to do this. So I said, look, I'm really fed up of teaching people how to sell. They pay you a reasonable amount of money, but they don't really, it's a lonely job. You're like a hired maverick. And then you're coming in as a disruptor. Some people like you, some people don't. So it's very much a case of not getting pleasure out of that anymore. I want to find something that excites me. Why don't I take half of your company and I will fade away my consulting piece, and while you're at university I'll build your company so that when you come out you're into a full-time role at the business that you launched originally. So
at the time, did you see an opportunity there then?
I think, so Kevin was British but Indian heritage, and he had mentioned to me when we were initially talking about his uncle in India running some factories out there and this kind of thing. And so really it was more that I thought, I'm interested in clothing generally, so I might be able to reignite my passion for my day-to-day job. Okay. But also I saw some potential in that. So initially I thought, well, actually I know how to get in front of any major CEO, board director business in the UK. That's easy for me. And that's the biggest bit that most people are missing in general. They can't get in front of people or get the new business, still less pitch and win the job, right? So I thought that was a decent way to kind of build on that. I thought, look, if I can get in front of Asda or Tesco's or whoever it might be, and Kevin's uncle's got the capability to make these products for us. And the reality was slightly different, so we decided to do this together and we started working together. And about 4 years in, I'd been in and out of India and I'd done a lot of different bits and pieces of work there, and we'd tried square pegs in round holes and all sorts of things. What I realised about manufacturing in general is that if they make a t-shirt, they can't necessarily make a jacket, right? So it's best to keep the square pegs in the square holes and focus on what they know. Apples are apples, oranges are oranges. And so eventually we refined what we were doing there, but over time, the most valuable bit of our business, and we were crossing over sportswear, workwear and student wear upon me taking over the company effectively. We breached out more into hospitality and into corporate uniforms. Over time, we just realised that there was more value in that, and actually people would stick with you longer term, whereas actually in the sports industry and things like that, it's very choppy and changey. You couldn't guarantee that those customers were going to come back next year. Prices were falling, all the EU stuff and things like that over the last number of years has been an issue because the fluctuation in pricing on clothing has been different. So eventually we kind of refined what we were doing.